which could provide valuable information to help the Commission's work.
Available records indicate the account was opened in July 2001 and was used to make payment to some companies GNPC was indebted to. Though signatories to the GNPC drawship account are still unknown, Acting Controller and Accountant General Grace Adre confirmed the closure of the account to the Commission.
Before the closure, can you tell the Commission what the balance on the said account was?
Before the closure, the balance was about 1,008.
US dollars.
Pounds.
Pounds.
So we'll check.
So it was a pound.
Whether it's the
account.
equivalent they were stating at the time, the equivalent dollar amount, because it's a dollar account.
So where did the said proceeds go to? 1,008 pounds.
By the records, it went to another account at the
International Ghana International Bank.
Went to another account.
Can you also confirm the signatories of the said account since its inception?
My Lord, will confirm that together with the bank statements, please.
It also emerged that the Ghana Police Service is here to make a court-ordered payment to 21 officers who were dismissed for misconduct but later reinstated on court orders. The officers are to be paid their salary arrears between May 2007 and October 2010.
Even though it was a court order, the police administration too was, exercised with so many thoughts. The precedent, that they will set for other police officers who disobey lawful instructions, this exercised them for some time. But since it was a court order, we have to prevail upon them to comply.
The sole Commissioner, Justice Yao Apau, asked the Ghana Police Service to quickly honor the court's judgment to avoid accumulation of undue interest.
The Member of Parliament for Futu has urged government to ensure all state properties are insured to avoid the huge expenses incurred after each disaster. Speaking on the floor of the House, the MP cited the recent fire which ravaged the Winneba Government Hospital and asked the government urgently address the situation there.
Supported by members of the House, the Futu MP Alexander Fenyo-Makin was of the opinion the expenses on the hospital by the government could have been avoided.
The estimated cost of replacement, according to the medical doctor, Dr. George Pra, is 2 million. If you look at the cost of insurance premium, it wouldn't even be up to 100,000. It wouldn't even be 50,000. So if you balance these two, then there is every positive, compelling reason to have an insurance policy.
According to him, the health and lives of people living in Winneba and its environs are at risk and called on the Minister of Health to, as a matter of urgency, send emergency support to the hospital.
From Cape Coast to Accra, the main center is Winneba for primary health care. So we shouldn't, because if there are accidents and there is nothing to attend to them, it means that they have to refer them to Kolebu or some other place. We don't want that to happen. Primary health care delivery is done by the government hospital, the old municipal hospital. So I think that if the support comes, it's going to help. You never know. A lot of accident cases are referred to, even from Swedro, Isamanka, all those areas. Sometimes, they get referred.
Some members blamed it on the maintenance culture of Ghanaians and the irresponsibility of some public workers entrusted with the facility. This is the third time this year Winneba has suffered a major disaster.
Well, still in Parliament, the chairman of Government's Assurance Committee says he will soon begin inviting ministers and officials to account for promises made to the House. He says the committee has acquired the services of a consultant to help its mandate for that purpose. You're speaking to Joy News correspondent Emmanuel Ante in Parliament.
It will be the first execution of the committee's mandate since it was established to ensure public officers and ministers live up to their promises. Chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Bejra, says serious work will commence in 2014.
So we are working behind the scene. A lot of things going on, just that we've not met with the press yet or the populace. We've also decided that we'll meet civil society organization. It's our desire to meet some civil society organizations before the end of the year to tell them what really the committee is about. We've met with the press, it's left the civil society organization and the ministers as well. We want to meet with all the ministers to also tell them that, well, this assurance committee has been there. So hopefully next year we start having what we call a public hearing.
He explains why the committee could not meet the October deadline.
That some of the assurances given by ministers so far, and we've noticed that they are not, even though they've given assurance, we want to be sure that by the end of the year, if those assurances are not being fulfilled, we'll take them on. One of the things we've noticed is that most ministers gave assurance, but there was no time frame. Therefore, you cannot hold them. If they give a time frame, then you can hold and pin them to the time frame that they've given the assurance. But if somebody says, I'll do this, and there was no time frame, you cannot pursue the person. The only thing you can do is to call the person, find out from him, when do you think you fulfill this and that. That's all we are working on now.
He highlights some challenges he says need to be resolved before the committee can fully start its work.
We want to formalize it that if a minister uses a word, it will constitute an assurance. That's what we're working on now. Hopefully in 2 weeks, they gave us 1 month, so in 2 weeks' time, you should be able to finish with that framework, and then we'll validate it. We'll go around the whole country, letting the populace know what constitutes assurance. Leadership has given us, they have given us their blessing. In fact, they even wanted us to start this year, but we're looking at our capacity. PAC has been a system for a very long time. They have been having it. We want to build our own capacity. We are bringing resource person from outside to train us as members of the committee to prepare us. We are also going through our own training to be sure that what we are doing the right thing. It has never been done in Ghana, especially when you take the assurances of business. It's never been done. We just don't want to jump into it.
Nothing much has been heard of the Government Assurance Committee after one engagement with the media at its inception to spell out its vision and plans.
The 5,000-unit affordable housing project is underway at Old Ningo here in Accra. President John Mahama, who cut the sword for the official commencement of the project, said government has learned its lessons from the botched STX housing project and will ensure the houses are delivered by 2016. Gifty Ando-Apia has more.
According to the president, following the botched STX deal in which government surrendered the country's sovereign guarantee to help the contractor solicit funds, it resolved to opt for an arrangement which would be self-financing. It therefore settled on the partnership with Construtora OAS, the Brazilian firm building the 5,000 units. Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, E.T. Mensah, said only 2 of the 112 companies who applied agreed to the terms. The Brazilian ambassador to Ghana, Irene Vidagala, underlined the necessity not to consider housing as a political priority, expressing confidence in the ability of the Brazilian company to deliver. Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Alhaji Collins Dauda, urged all contractors, including local ones, whose service will be sought to deliver according to specification, adding, no delays and inefficiencies will be tolerated.
This project has some unique technological innovations, such as the use of sustainable, renewable building materials, solar power generation and waste water recycling management, and therefore will offer enormous learning opportunities for all those who will be associated with it. It is also designed to create jobs for not less than 5,000 people. It is our expectation that Michel's Construtora OAS will work diligently to deliver this project on schedule, as no delays or inefficiencies will be tolerated by government.
President Mahama said the Ningo project is the first of a scheme where proceeds from the sale of homes will be reinvested in the construction of more homes to address the housing deficit estimated to be at 1.7 million units.
We thought very much about the financing structure in order that it could be sustainable. And so the houses are going to be built, the houses are going to be sold to Ghanaians of all walks of life under proper financial instruments, mortgages, or other such financial instruments, so that they can pay for the houses over a sustained period of time. For those who can purchase the houses outright, they are welcome to do so. Landlords are not only charging high rents, but they are also asking for rent advance, sometimes for as long as 3 years. And so it makes it imperative that government should intervene in this sector. Nothing good comes easy. The beginning of every good thing and the beginning of every journey can be difficult. But it doesn't mean that when you start a journey and it is difficult, you should give up the journey.
He called on chiefs in the area to fight encroachment, especially by real estate developers, and to come out with a development plan for lands in the area.
The bulk of our people here are farmers. If we just allow haphazard development and real estate agents to just buy off all the land, where are we going to farm to be able to get food to feed ourselves? Pick up with government and the town and country planning, and let's create a master plan of development for this area so that we can have lands for every purpose that we need it for.
The 5,000 affordable houses are expected to be completed in 4 years. It will be sold in partnership with Ghana Home Loans at cost or break-even prices to Ghanaians, especially public workers. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Ningo Pram Pram.
62 motorbikes have been impounded by the police in a special operation conducted by the Upper West Command. The operation was carried out following numerous complaints about the theft of motorbikes in the Wa municipality. Rafiq Salam sent in this report from Wa.
Motorists in the Upper West region, especially the Wa municipality, have for some time now been having sleepless nights over the motorbike theft, one of the cases attracting the highest number of complaints. The Upper West Regional Police Command, after the numerous complaints, decided to launch the special operation targeting motorbikes whose ignitions have been tampered with. Deputy Upper West Regional Police Commander Assistant Commissioner of Police Kweku Ampofoduku says 62 motorbikes were arrested in the exercise and the owners have been asked to bring documents proving their ownership. ACP Ampofoduku had some advice for the public.
For the public, it's very simple. That motorbike stealing is very common in the Wa municipality. So the public should be careful the way they park their motorbikes, not haphazardly as previously. Also, those who have been buying motorbikes from unsuspecting people, the bikes might be stolen. So they must ensure that the proper documents are handed over to them before they buy any motorbike.
Rafiq Salam's report.
We have more stories coming up. Don't go away. Chiefs in Elmina in the Central Region are threatening to go to court to stop the construction of a fish processing plant in the town. They explain that this is because all attempts to meet the Fisheries Ministry over the project at the Marine Park in Elmina has failed.
The Traditional Council is said to have started discussions with its lawyer over a possible injunction to stop the project. This is after chiefs of the Edna Traditional Council last Tuesday clashed with the contractors at the site in an attempt to stop them from working, claiming the site was forcefully taken over by government without due consultations with the chiefs.
Traditional Council.
Work is, however, still ongoing at the site. The chiefs say they are seeking an amicable solution to the standoff, but tell Joy News they will have to resort to other means since government is unyielding. Nana Kwejo Eduakwa speaks for the chiefs.
And our observation is what we are sharing with him. But it looks like he doesn't seem to understand us. And that is why I remember he made mention that our attempt to stop the people working on the site, the fish processing side, is basically is nonsense, as he said the other time. But we wish he comes to see himself. We will realize that we are making some sense.
The project, which is at the seashore, according to the chiefs, is even threatened by tidal waves, as many homes along the beach front have been destroyed, and it continues to threaten houses there.
It's the site you're talking about, the alternative site. When they were repairing the bridge over there, all the canoe fishermen actually landed here, including the ladies, the fishmongers. This was the site. And if you take a chunk of this land, where do you expect the fishermen to do? As I speak to you over there, you saw the huge canoe population over there. And if something is to happen here and happen on the bridge, where do you expect the people to go?
They therefore insist the siting of the proposed fish processing plant is not appropriate and will do everything possible within their power to remove that project from the area. President John Mahama laid a foundation for the commencement of the $11 million project about 2 months ago. Georgina Pierce report.
Metropolitan and municipal chief executives who were schooled on their job descriptions yesterday have been speaking about measures to ensure they deal with especially underdevelopment and corruption in their jurisdiction. There were those, however, who were not too clear about how to deal with the problem.
What's that one unique thing that you are going to do to make your district better?
I think the unique thing is that not to do things the same old way.
What is the challenge that you've identified in your area, and how do you want to address them?
Yeah, the challenge now is as a result of the President's address, which has revitalized my spirit of creativity and sensitivity, creativity and initiative. I have to mobilize totally all the potentials in the municipality.
I want specific examples, as in what are the specific examples of the things that you've seen that you want to change?
Yes, I want to first of all change the attitude of my people, that the mindset first, and so doing bring all on board for the development of the area.
Education, like you said, it's in the upper region, upper west, and let me just say upper regions, or the 3 northern regions. We are challenged with education. But when I came for now, I've made the GS, for that matter, director, to set up a scheme that will let us motivate the children by way of awarding them. So this year, basic education certificate examination, I've been able to mobilize the 3 best students, and we are about to award them. I think this can help to stimulate and help them to study very well.
We started fighting corruption in Karga district before the mention of the president. Yeah, we put in place of committees and checking all the departments, and then all over the district.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Transparency and accountability.
How?
I make sure that whatever I entrust into your care, you give account of whatever I've given to you. That is what I'm talking about, accountability. Let me say in Twi. What they say is that
so you will say that in your district, it is working. The measures that you put in place to curb corruption.
I'm not chopping, you will not chop. I'm a self-made man already. I own a school. So I'm there to serve the people.
Several fiscally challenged students of the Senior High Technical School for the Deaf at Mampong in the Eastern Region face a risk of being knocked down by speeding vehicles. This is because the students, mostly hearing and speech impaired, have to walk over 2 kilometers along the shoulders of the Mampong Highway to attend classes.
The Mampong Highway is a very busy road. Vehicle speed, sometimes above the speed limit, putting the lives of these students at risk. The Senior High Technical School, built in 1975, is the only secondary and technical training institution for deaf students in the country. Classes are now in section. This group of students are presenting an assignment. Even though I couldn't understand the sign language, I picked up it was a presentation on the Constitution. It is lunchtime, and students have to walk to the dining hall to have lunch. The dining hall prefect gives instruction as to how the day's meal is to be shared. A bowl of rice and beans is later served to the delight of the students. Lunch is over, and it is closing time. The 2-kilometer journey back to their dormitories is a risk due to speeding vehicles. Unable to speak or hear the tooting of horns is not a warning sign enough.
For a school that is supposed to cater for children with disabilities, one would have thought that it would have been located at a point where movement of students would have been easy. But for students of the School of Deaf Senior High School, their situation is different. The school is located at the joint of a highway, putting the lives of these children at risk.
6 students are said to have been knocked down on this stretch of the road, and one died after being rushed to the hospital.
Because our children are deaf and cannot hear, some drivers, when they want to stop, they think the student in front of them can hear, so they at the back of the walkway. If they are not responding, then they use the side of the vehicle to brush them. So sometimes they fall and hurt themselves. Our children have not been very safe, and this has been a great worry to us if they have to walk 8 kilometers a day.
The journey is done 4 times in a day, and the risk is high.
The nights when we close from classes and we are walking down to the dormitory, because most of our students have visual impairment and the road is it's not big enough. Most of them fell into gutters most of the times, and especially the drivers. As they move along, they've been disturbing them a lot, blowing their horns against them whenever they are walking and insulting them most of the time.
To add to their woes, there are no places of convenience on the campus, forcing many to either return to their dormitories during classes hours. How inconvenient is this for them?
So they are not happy because every day when you have to part some few coins to adjust to urinate or to go to toilet, it's not easy for them. Sometimes when you are hard pressed, you want to ease yourself, you have to go back to the dormitory. And by the time you come, classes 2 is in session. You will be late, and the teachers too will not be happy when you will be moving out of the classroom most of the times. So they need a very good place of convenience here.
3 vehicles supposed to serve that purpose for the school have all developed faults and have been parked. I tried the journey with some of the students, and it is not an easy task. Just halfway through the journey, the clouds gathered, and it rained in no time, totally soaking us in the process.
To put their lives at risk of these vehicles, the race has also started, and these children have no vehicle to ferry them back to their dormitories.
School authorities say they have petitioned the Ghana Highway Authority to construct speed ramps on the part of the highway near the school.
We haven't heard anything from them as yet. If we wait and nothing is being done, we have to take the law into our hands and then do whatever will please the children. If you move on the road, you realize that at certain places there are speed ramps. Meanwhile, those who ply the road, they hear and then they see. So if you give them the speed ramps and the zebra crossings, why don't you give to these disabled children as well?
Authorities, however, want the school to be relocated. Yafusia Jimfi, for Joy News.
Some sub-chiefs at the Sekwa Traditional Council in the Tyne district of the Brong-Ahafo region are unhappy with the media over the reportage about the assassination of the paramount chief of the area. The chiefs barred our crew from filming in the town, asserting that it is not the duty of the media to announce the demise of their leader.
The crew encountered a hostile crowd when they got to Sekwa. Even though it seemed to be business as usual, it was obvious the people were grieving as the traditional red and black mourning clothes were visible on the streets of the town. The residents would not speak to the media about the death of the paramount chief, Nana Kweku Juma Nkwana II. The reception was even more hostile at Sekwa Traditional Palace. The police at Sekwa also declined to give any account, but hinted that personnel of the police service are being deployed from Accra to the town to investigate the killing. The mood in the town in the meantime is solemn, even though the traditional council insists it is untrue the paramount chief is no more. Nesta Kafri Ajame's report.
Business, I'm Abigail Adumakoenchi. Now, traders whose structures were demolished on Tuesday at Tiptoe Lane to make way for the construction of the interchange at Kwame Nkrumah Circle have returned to the area, challenging the eviction by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. According to President of the Trader Association, Joseph Osei Agyemang, they were not served prior notice, insisting their rights were trampled upon.
Demolition exercise which took place yesterday is to pave way for the construction of the Circle interchange. More than 30 shops were pulled down in an exercise the police say will affect about 1,000 structures around the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. The traders who were affected were back this morning, though without their shops. Most of them say they are looking to their leaders on the way forward. Their president maintains the demolition exercise was unconstitutional and uncalled for.
Nobody served us any notice. Nobody served us any notice. I just saw that they were demolishing. And so I didn't hear anything like anything was going to happen. From our investigations, there's nothing like that. He was just using that as an excuse to come and demolish things around this place.
He alluded to possible foul play.
The sub-metro chairman who came to do this, Victor Kwashi, he said those people who are parking up there and selling on cars, that is what he came to stop. Then the spillover is what happened here. But if you go to the top, people are selling on one side, and the other side, they have used it as a car park, and that is causing all the traffic here. So if he's sacking those who are selling, he should also remove the car park from there. But because he's collecting monies from those at the car park, he's condoning with them to commit crime. And yesterday when they came here, the honorable member MP told him that if he's sacking these people, he should go and sack these people too. They didn't do that. They left them there. Why did they leave them there?
He said they are seeking the intervention of the Accra mayor.
Now, government says it is at the final stages of negotiations with the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, to complete and sell affordable houses started by the erstwhile NPP administration. President John Mahama made the announcement at the launch of a new affordable housing project at Saglimi in the Ningo-Prapram district. The president noted that his directive for ministries not to award any more contracts this year was to gather enough funds to clear all stalled projects, adding it makes no sense awarding more contracts when old ones have stalled.
Affordable housing scheme started by the previous government. We are finalizing negotiations with SNIT to take over those houses. There are almost 4,900 of them. To take over those houses, complete them, and sell them to the general public. And so those affordable houses will be available. The current one we're going to cut short for are going to be available, and the new one for another over 4,000 units are also going to be available. We believe that this will be a major contribution to housing in Ghana. We undertook a policy and said that the ministries should place a moratorium on awarding new contracts. And we did it for a purpose. Over the years, we have been awarding contracts every year, and there are so many uncompleted contracts or projects littered across the country. It doesn't make sense to continue to award new contracts when you're not paying for the old contracts that you have awarded. And so for this year, we asked all the ministries, departments, and agencies, and I'm happy they are abiding by the instruction, to place a moratorium on new contracts, and let's spend the money and pay contractors for the work they have done for government in the past. Using that, we've been able to clear a lot of the pipeline. All of you remember the Gang of Four, the major roads leading into Accra and the Sofo Line interchange. As a result of the moratorium, we are raising more money to pay for the completion of all those projects. And so far, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've spent almost 400 million Ghana cedis on those projects alone. So we are meeting our targets, and I'm sure that the sacrifices that we're making are being made for a better Ghana.
Now, CalBank says it is feeling the impact of the country's ballooning fiscal deficit and has therefore asked government to strengthen its revenue mobilization efforts. Speaking to Joy Business at the bank's Facts Behind the Figures session in Accra, he also called for the widening of the tax net and the efficient use of the revenues mobilized.
Officials of the bank indicated it had grown in revenues and profitability in the last 9 months of the year. Its total income went up by 85% to 156.6 million cedis from 84.4 million cedis last year. The bank's profits before tax also increased from 41.8 million cedis for the first 9 months of last year to 91 million cedis for the same period this year. Profit after tax for the same period also shot up from 33.3 million cedis to about 67 million cedis this year. Officials, however, maintain their performance was impacted by the country's fiscal challenges.
Banks have customers who have done transactions for government and expect to be paid from government revenues generated. So if revenue collection does not come up to the desired targets set in the budgetary process, what it means is that monies available for government to use will not be up to the desired level as expected in the budget. Moving forward, one of the key things that we need to look at is to improve on the collection mechanisms. We've also got to expand the tax base.
CalBank also recorded a growth in loans from 400 million Ghana cedis to $1 billion by the end of September this year. The loans and advances were principally to mining, commerce, construction, services and the public sector. The general manager explains why it has become difficult for the bank to provide loan facilities to the agricultural sector.
Our current system has some challenges. Large-scale agriculture, for instance, if you take crop production, would require, say, irrigation system. You do not want to have large-scale agriculture dependent on the rain. You want to have large-scale crop production supported with irrigation system, available mechanization to support the scale of production. Those are the things we are discussing at the moment. It is not that we have shied away from the sector. We are taking steps to ensure that if we do enter the sector, then whatever resources we put in the sector, the desired returns are achieved.
CalBank recorded a 170% increase in its year-to-date share price, accompanied with a total asset growth of 39.4% year-on-year.
Well, that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adumakwentri. George Adu Jr. comes up with sports.
Business was brought to you in association.
News making rounds of the world of sports, and the Air Defence Stadium in Cairo might not host the World Cup second leg playoff between Ghana and Egypt after FIFA confirmed its security committee will have a closer look at the situation in the Egyptian capital.
Committee is reconsidering its decision to allow Egypt to host their World Cup tie against Ghana in Cairo this month after a protest by government. President John Dramani Mahama early this week asked Blatter to examine the decision carefully in the wake of growing violence in the North African country ahead of the second leg of the playoff to the World Cup. Ghana legend Abedi Pele also spoke to Blatter this week after Sports Minister Elvis Afriyie Ankra had written to FIFA over the decision to approve the match for Cairo. The FA's request to have the match moved to a neutral venue on security grounds was rejected by FIFA, which informed the sports minister's decision to request an urgent meeting with FIFA to discuss the issue in the wake of the political and social unrest in Egypt since President Mohamed Morsi was overthrown by the military. FIFA now says it's looking carefully at the decision to allow Egypt to play the game at the Air Defence Stadium. Sepp Blatter also revealed that he wants to get rid of World Cup qualifying playoff ties in future, insisting the playoffs are a hard way for teams to miss out on the finals. 20 teams plus host Brazil have qualified for next year's tournament via round-robin groups. The remaining 11 places will be decided this month, all in two-legged playoffs. 5 matches will be played in Africa between runners-up from the 10 second-round groups.
Now we stay with the subject of the Black Stars. An official meal sponsor of the Stars, CCTC Ghana Limited, have paid a sum of $50,000 to the Ghana FA in fulfillment of their pledge for the 2013-2014 season. The Black Stars team is set to start preparation ahead of the second leg of the 2014 World Cup playoff clash against Egypt, and President of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, views the gesture as timely. We'll also hear from Managing Director of CCTC Ghana, that's Ahmed Halawe.
In fulfillment of the contract between the Ghana Football Association and CCTC, the official meal sponsor of the Black Stars. CCTC has had a very fruitful relationship with the Football Association over the years, and this has led to the payment of yearly amounts in support of the exploits of the Black Stars. In addition to cash payments, we have also received products which has come in the form of rice and other cooking ingredients. Will I call them food items or ingredients? It has gone a long way to help the Black Stars to get this far. CCTC, we are proud of you because anytime the Black Stars become successful in any of the matches we play and in any of the competitions that we participate in, we share the glory, the honor, and then all the achievements that come with it.
It's based on our contract, and we will set up a date every year. By this time, we'll give our partial for the Black Stars. So it's already a set up date from the contract that we have, and it happens that always at this time they have a big events in early next year. That will be a perfect time for the GFA to prepare themselves for their tournaments.
Right, let's quickly catch up with the action that's currently ongoing in the UEFA Champions League. 8 games currently half-time, waiting for the second half games. The good news is a number of Ghanaians are in this as well. Suleiman Tai featuring for AC Milan. We can talk about Andre and Jordan Ayew featuring for Marseille. Not only that, Kevin Prince Boateng is also in the set for for Schalke 04. So we can now look at what the results are looking now after at least 45 minutes. Just a few of the games have started in about 1 minute so play. We'll first of all start with Group E, and the talk of the moment there should be that game between Chelsea and Schalke 04. Michael Eason's on the bench. Kevin is actually in that one. Samuel Eto'o got a goal for Chelsea, currently in the lead, 1-0 there. The other game, still Bucharest, is actually leading by 1-0 against Brazil. We get into Group E right now. Borussia Dortmund currently drawing with Arsenal. It's goalless in there. You're trying to find out what's going to happen in that particular game. You're expecting a lot from Arsenal, but it's very difficult, especially when they play in Germany over there. Now, Napoli are leading Marseille by 2-1. The hard goals are really for Andre Ayew. He scored the first goal for Marseille. It wasn't good enough because Napoli managed to come in with 2 goals right there. You get into Group J, Zenit and Petersburg. This game has ended. It's 1-1, or was 1-1 between the two sides, FC Porto and Zenit St. Petersburg over there. Atletico Madrid are going very strong out there in Spain. They're leading. Austria went by 3-0. The second half yet to come, just begun as well. In Group H, Ajax Amsterdam drawing goalless with Celtic after first 45 minutes. And then Barcelona are leading AC Milan by 2-1. A few points out there because Messi, after the 4-game drought, managed to get a goal. Robinho also got a goal there for AC Milan. We'll find out how all these games span out in the UEFA Champions League. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adejunior. Do have a great evening. Israel will join us with international news.
Sports was put. Right, so we now bring you Showbiz. That was the end of international news. Rap doctor Chame Kwame successfully bagged the first of 16 African artists he's hoping to collaborate with for his African Connection album. He was speaking to Showbiz after the video shoot for the Try One More Time track with Nigeria's Jay Martins.
Chame Kwame, popularly referred to as a rap doctor, described the shoot with his Nigerian counterpart as stressful.
We went to this park, and the floor is very grimy, you know, so AB is by the jeep and then he is controlling it and I'm supposed to slide along and the floor is rugged, so it makes it difficult. Getting the right equipment, getting the right dancers, right costume, all that is tedious.
Meanwhile, he says his Mr. Versatile has been postponed to next year due to financial constraints.
This year, the Versatile show has been pushed to early next year. Straight reason, because all our sponsors say they've exhausted their budget. And you know, last year, I sponsored the program from my pocket. I lost a lot of money. Actually, people went home with spasms of my Range Rover in their head.
He says the video for the Try Another Time song would be premiered this November.
That'll be all for Showbiz.
Showbiz.
Top stories. Construction is underway of 5,000 units of affordable houses at Ningo to be sold to mostly government workers. Controller and Accountant General tells Judgment Debt Commission the department has requested bank statements on the GMPC drill ship proceeds account, which should hopefully answer some key questions. Elmina chiefs are threatening to go to court to stop the fish processing plants being built in the area. And traders are tiptoeing return after the structures were demolished by the AMA yesterday to make way for the construction of the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange. That's it. My name is Israel. Live. Good evening.